going to be looking for defensively from this team, when they get into practice a week on Friday?
Well, the big thing is going to be fundamentals, and we've really got to get better. You go back and you have a chance to study what you did well and what you didn't do well, and really what it got down to in most situations is fundamentals and communication, and we've got to do that from a coaching standpoint. We got to make sure that our players have the tools to go out and compete on Saturday, and that starts in the weight room, and I think they've done a good job in the cycle in the weight room. Now what we got to do is focus on fundamentals. To be quite honest with you, right now, unless we move quicker than I think we're going to move, we're not going to do a lot scheme-wise, but we're going to work on technique and fundamentals. Once we do that, then the scheme will build itself. And so that's kind of what we're looking for.
Chief, the one thing I've always been watching your defenses is you've always had the great ability to build, around the strength. It seems like your defensive line is going to be pretty stout. Talk about them and how much will you lean on that veteran group?
Well, it's important, and really that's where you want to be. If you're good up front, then that gives you some flexibility and some things that you can do on the back end. And if we can stop the run with less people in the box, and that gives you some flexibility to build on coverage and not have to play so much man-to-man. But it's important, and we focus at that position too in terms of recruiting. We're a little bit number-wise, we're a little bit heavy there, but that's going to pay off dividends down the road.
Talking about some of your younger kids, Devin Bush, Greg Brooks, Stoley, and those guys that were able to come in, early and get into the spring ball. How will that help those guys and the defense as a whole?
Well, two ways it's going to help those guys. Number one, they've already made that transformation from being at home. Now they're away from home, and let's just tell the truth. If we can remember when we did that, it wasn't easy. It takes some time. Some kids adjust, quicker. Some kids it takes a little bit long, but they've already adjusted. And they're exposed to the conditioning that they got in the off season. That's a big plus. Then they're going to be exposed now to spring practice. So they're going to be so much farther ahead than, some of the freshmen that come in August or come in June. So it's a good head start. They've already put in a lot of work. They're going to put in a lot more work. But the biggest thing is that transition. It used to be a long time ago. You showed up when you started football practice. In August or whenever. And, guys were getting homesick. Back in Tennessee, we used to call it the I-40 blues. You could hear those suitcases going down the stairs late at night. They were headed to I-40. They were getting out of there. But they've already made that transition now, and that's good.
Talk about Scooter. He seems to be he's going to be that defensive leader. How much will you put on Scooter to be the leader of that group?
Well, number one, we've talked about that. It's not just something we're going to put on, and we've talked about that. And I think he really wants that role. And he was the leader for us last year, but now it's probably in terms of the guy. He's probably the guy on our defense right now. And let me say this: if we can get everybody playing at the level that Scooter's played at, then we'll all be happy.
Ryan leaves, who are going to be the guys that you look at, and kind of fill his role? He would have been a senior, but he moves on. Who are some of those guys?
It's hard to say. Maybe some of the young guys, I don't know, but I'll just talk to you about a couple guys, and we'll go from there. But you start looking at corner, and Tuck's going to be a guy that's going to have to, he's going to have to move up for us. McClellan is a guy that's going to have to move up for us. Those two guys, and then with Bush and Brooks coming in, those guys are going, they're going to figure into who's playing, and I won't be shocked if those guys end up in the rotation. It's true freshmen.
When you looked at Devin and Greg, what was it about those two, that you wanted to have them here in Arkansas?
Well, speed, and the ability to play football. You got a lot of guys that can run fast, but they can't play football. And I don't mean anything. Don't take this wrong. Cause you say something like this, and then somebody, there's a lot of fast guys running track, but they can't play football, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, they've got that talent. These young men can run fast, and they're tough, and they love the competition, and they love playing football.